India pizza.
What?
India pizza. India pizza.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. I'm Chef Rob. Welcome back to another episode of Cat Online. Today I will be showing you guys how to make a Thai green curry chicken. Okay. Basically, what I have is two sets of ingredients. The paste I already made in advance, as it takes a lot of blending. Okay. So I didn't want to do that on the video, as it would take a bit of time. But I have the ingredients here to show you guys. So inside the paste there itself, you have coriander, lemongrass, you have dried shrimp, lime, but we only use the zest, okay? We don't use juice. You have shallots, fish sauce, palm sugar, fresh turmeric, you have fresh ginger or galangal, okay? It's whatever's available to you. And you have kaffir lime leaves here also. And then you have coriander seeds and cumin seeds, okay? Everything you blend, the only difference is that you take the two seeds and you toast them first, okay? And then you blend all that together with the oil, and then in the end, you will end up with this, okay, which is our green curry paste. Now this is not the traditional version. Actually, more traditionally, the paste will contain green chilies, okay? So the version that we are making is very sweet, as some people are maybe not so in tune with spicy food, okay? So we make a sweeter version. Later on, you can adjust the amount of chili that you want in the dish to give it that same kind of flavor, okay? So basically all that we did was just blend that up. And then we have the paste here, done, simple and ready, okay? So for the rest of the ingredients, I have two different containers of coconut milk. The reason on the recipe is 110 grams plus, okay? The reason for that is because the 110 grams we will cook with the paste, and then the additional is for adjusting the richness at the end, okay? Other than that, we have Thai eggplants, which of course I understand not available to everyone or everywhere. It can be changed for other kind of vegetables, okay? You could use normal eggplant, you could use something like chili, okay? Whatever you feel like you want to have inside. You can also put potato if you want. We have some Thai basil here. We have the water or chicken stock. For me, I went with water today because I prefer the purer flavor. We have some green bird's eye chilies. Again, these are not spicy. If you prefer spicy, you can use red, okay? We have the palm sugar and the fish sauce, which I mixed together here to help it to, it's easier for it to dissolve later on. And then I have my chicken breast, okay, which I just marinated with a bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. It's nothing too much at all. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to up the heat. And we don't add any oil into the pan because we blended with oil, okay, for the paste. Now if you didn't blend with oil, you want to blend with water, also can. One, the paste will not last as long, okay? It will last much longer with oil inside. Two, if you use water, you will need to add oil into your pan before you cook the paste off, okay? It's very important to understand. So we don't leave it too long, it doesn't need to be too hot. So I'm going to put inside my paste. I use maybe a half of what the recipe is there. And this paste is actually very good. You can keep it inside the chiller, you can keep it inside the freezer, no problem. And we need to make sure that we don't let it sit too long, because of course until the oil begins to split, there is a chance actually that it will burn. So I'm only using a medium heat here. If I use high heat, for sure it will burn. And so we're just going to cook it until basically we see the oil start to split. That's the important part for us. So when the oil starts to split out, that is when you know that the flavours are really coming out of the products, that everything is starting to cook properly. And the paste I just put as needed because of course depends on how much you're making. Okay, for this recipe I suggest half is okay, but if you prefer the flavour to be a lot stronger you can add more. If you don't want it to be so strong you can add less, okay? And for example, if you don't want to make a curry from this paste, you can actually make a soup as well. You would need to use maybe half of what I put inside the pan here to make a soup out of this. And then you would just add a lot more water and you would just cook it for a while. And then you can eat that with your favourite instant noodles, and you can eat it with rice, whatever you feel like you want to serve that with. Okay, so it's smelling really, really good at the minute. But we're still waiting for that oil to start coming out. And when you're blending this, okay, we don't want it to be too fine. You want it to have some strands in there from the lemongrass. You know, you want to have some lumps in there as well. But the main thing is that you have a paste, okay? You don't have whole kaffir lime leaves sat inside or something like that. But it does take a while to blend and you will have to stir and mix, so just be careful. And if you feel it's too much of a problem, you can always add a bit more oil or a bit more water when you're blending to make it slightly easier. But don't mix oil and water, okay? You blend with one or the other. Okay, so I can just see oil starting to come out. If you can see on the bottom of the pan now, okay, we just have some leftovers from oil there. So it should be around another minute or so and then we should be good. Okay, so once the oil is starting to build up, what we're going to do is we're going to take the first 110 grams of our coconut milk and you're going to pour it on top. I'm using fresh santan here. Okay, if you want to use packet santan also can. For me I prefer to use slightly thicker. I don't want it to be too watery as I feel it gives a really nice texture to the curry at the end. It helps, you don't have to do so much reduction either. Okay, so we're mixing it through. Make sure it's well mixed in there. Then just take it off the heat a while, just to make sure. You don't want it to over reduce or split. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my chicken breast inside. Now for me this recipe is going to be very fast because usually we use chicken with bone inside. The cooking time for something like that would be around 20 to 30 minutes depending on the sizes. And of course it varies on what kind of meat you're using. Okay, you can put other kinds of meat inside here as well. More commonly you will see things like pork inside. I've seen people using beef, fish, something like this. Okay, so whatever it is that you wish to use you can. But you may need to make adjustments at the end if you're using red meat especially, because the flavour will be a lot stronger. Okay. So once the chicken is fully mixed there, we will add our water inside. And you can also make a vegetarian version if you don't wish to have any meat inside, okay? You can just mix different kinds of vegetables inside, there's no problem there. Okay, so now that that's all mixed, we're going to up the heat a little bit. And we need to bring this to a simmer at least. You can see now it's very watery, okay? Later on that's going to reduce back down. But the important part for us now is that I'm showing you the steps as if I was using chicken with bone in, okay? So ideally what we would do is we would just bring this to a boil or a heavy simmer at least. We would cook it for around 15 to 20 minutes, okay? Again, it depends on the size of the chicken that you are using. If it's really big or you're using half chicken or something like this, the time may increase. Okay, so please just bear in mind there. And whenever you are making this dish, don't boil it for too long, okay? And don't leave it unattended for too long because there is a chance that the coconut milk will split. That's something you have to be very careful with. Naturally, because we blend the paste with oil, there will be oil surfacing, okay? So Don't worry too much if you see some oil there. Okay, so I'm going to take my eggplants now, and I keep them in water to stop them from oxidizing. Okay, so I'm going to add them inside. The eggplants will take around 5 minutes to cook, depending on how the consistency, the texture is. So we're just going to let them simmer for a short while. Okay, so you can see the colour is very, very striking. Even though, like I say, we haven't added any chili into the paste at all. The colour is completely natural, there is no colouring inside. And you get the colour from the kaffir lime, you get the colour from the lime zest, and also from the coriander. It's very nice, very easy dish to make at home. And the thing with the paste, again, like I say, you can actually freeze this down for 3-6 months, no problem. So you can just take that out and use it whenever you want to. Okay, so once that's starting now, we're going to put our chilies inside. And we're going to let that simmer. Again, the chili is up to you how much you wish to use. For me, I don't want to add too much, because I like the sweetness that this dish has, okay, from the palm sugar there. But of course, whenever you're cooking Thai food especially, it must have that balance, okay, that sweetness, that saltiness, the spiciness, the sourness, everything must be there, okay? So whatever it is that you are using, please ensure that you have a nice harmonious balance at the end, so that when you put all your dish together and you serve your dish to your customer, nothing stands out too much, okay? Everything is just nice, it fits into place. Okay, so again, we're just going to leave this now for around 5 minutes to simmer. After that, we just have a few more ingredients to put inside. The seasoning is what we call it, is the fish sauce and the palm sugar. Okay, this can be adjusted to your own taste. For example, if you're using different kinds of meat, okay, or you're using chicken stock, you're using meat with a bone in or something like that, you may want to adjust your fish sauce, you may want to adjust your palm sugar, okay, because they're the two variables that will really change how the flavour of this will be. With the chili, of course, you will get your spiciness. It completely depends on how much you want in there. And it's not unheard of that people do actually add some lime juice into this if they feel it's lacking something. A touch of lime juice at the end there will really help. And again, the same like any kind of curry that you're making, okay? The thickness is totally depending on how you want it to be, okay? For example, if you was to serve this with noodles or something, perhaps you would want it to be a bit more dry, so that you don't have a big wet mess on your plate. But if you're serving it with rice, it's okay to be a little bit watery, so that you will have, your rice can absorb all of your gravy that you have with this, your curry sauce. Okay, so now we're just more or less looking for the eggplants to soften slightly. For me, I like them to still have some texture, but if you want to cook them for a longer period of time, you can, no problem. Main thing is we don't want the chicken to dry out too much. Okay, so I'm going to add inside now my palm sugar and my fish sauce. And the Thai basil we will only add right at the end, because if you cook Thai basil for too long, one, the flavour is very strong, okay? Two, you will also damage and brown the leaf if you cook it for too long a period of time. So it's quite important not to put it in too early.
Chef Rob.
Hello.
Your mom is watching.
Hello, Mom. All the way from the UK. What time? It must be around 6 AM there. She gets up to watch me do all my live demos. How sweet, huh? Okay.
Chef Rob, we have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Someone is asking, when you add water
Yeah.
into the green curry, instead of stock,
Yes.
it says Is it okay if we can boil this chicken in that water, and then so that little chicken is also cooked, and then use the same water also to thin the curry? Is it okay?
I mean, it's not a big issue. I mean, if you're going to boil the chicken in there, then you may as well just make a stock from the chicken.
Just just to reduce the time of the cooking of chicken.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you
can do that.
wanted to do that, no problem. But I would suggest that you at least season the water a bit first, and you maybe put some onion or something to dull down the flavour of the chicken a little bit. Because if you actually just boil chicken in water, one, you're going to lose a lot of the goodness, the flavour, okay? But two, you're also going to get the impurities, leaving a bit of a flavour inside the water there. But yeah, it's doable for sure. You just need to make a few adjustments. Okay, so we're starting to get some thickness now, which is what I'm more happy to see. So now the only other thing that I really have to do is just add some more coconut milk. Again, it's totally up to you how much you wish to use. You can always add just a touch onto the dish at the end as well, whenever you feel like you want a bit more richness, or you want it to be a bit more thick. But again, that's totally up to you, no problem. Okay, and then with this, I'm going to off the heat now, because for me the consistency is nice. Like I said, I don't want it to be too thick. I can keep reducing, no problem, if you do want it to be a thicker curry, okay? But for my purpose, because I'm serving with rice, so I want it to remain a bit watery, okay? So I have my Thai basil leaves here. I will just drop those inside. And I'm going to add a touch of salt. Now be careful how much salt you add to this, okay? Because you do have your fish sauce inside, which will already give it that saltiness. So we're not looking for it to really have such an adverse effect. We just want it to increase the flavour a little bit to balance out the ingredients. And as I say, I already seasoned the chicken with salt and pepper, so I'm not going to add too much, just a touch, just to help that out there. Okay, and then that is our green curry done. So as I say, it's not 100% fixed recipe, it's how you want it to be, okay? Whatever you feel is better, more necessary, then there's no problem there, okay? I also have some kaffir lime leaves here, which I will just put in at the end also, because for me the flavour, with the paste already having a lot inside, it's not so important to cook that at the beginning, so we just put that in there, just so as it's cooling down a little bit, as the heat's still in there, it will just bring out a little bit of flavour there. Okay, so next all that is left for us to do is just to plate it up. Just for garnish here, I just have a bit of coriander, a bit of Thai basil that I soaked in water to keep it fresh. Okay. So, as I say, whenever you're serving this, choose how you want to serve it, okay, what it is that you're serving it with, and then choose the appropriate thing to serve it with. There's no reason that I couldn't serve this curry with noodles now, okay, but for me, like I say, it's a bit watery for that. For rice, it's perfect, okay, it's exactly the texture that we want. So, again, it's totally up to you how you wish to do it, but just put that into consideration, okay. And we have now green curry with the rice. And then we just take our coriander, just put a few leaves on. But again, this is optional. You see the coriander is part of the recipe, but it is only for the garnish at the end there, just to serve some fresh coriander, no problem. And then just to finish, we have our Thai basil, just to go on the top. Okay, most people won't eat that anyway because it's the flour, so don't worry too much, it's purely there just for garnish. Okay, but there you have a green curry made from scratch. Okay, nothing artificial inside. The preservatives in there are very natural, very good. Okay. And you know, if you're making a red curry, the recipe is not going to be too much different. Okay, you'll still have the same base ingredients, but you will use red chili into the paste. As you know, red chili is, red curry, sorry, is a bit more spicy. Okay, yes, it does come from the red chili inside the paste there. Okay, so you can see the differences now between what we've done the past few weeks. Okay, whether it's Chinese cuisine, whether it's Thai cuisine, whether it's Malaysian cuisine, you can see the difference when it comes to all of these kind of pastes. Okay, the ingredients that we use around Southeast Asia, they will all use the same kind of ingredients. Malaysian cuisine uses Thai basil, okay, for certain things. More so to in soups, laksa, things like this, okay, you'll find it. And of course all of the other kind of ingredients, kaffir lime leaves, the lemongrass, the palm sugar, the fish sauce, it's used everywhere, okay? So this is the one thing that I love really about Southeast Asia, okay, especially in the food culture, is that everything can be shared and adjusted, okay? Which is really fantastic. You can come up with some really great dishes just from some simple ingredients that you can find anywhere in the supermarkets, you know?
Chef, there's a question,
Yeah.
someone coming from Dubai, they want to know, do you take international students because they want to study in Apka?
Yeah, I mean, for international students, we accept in the Philippines Academy, okay? Right now, we only have Pastry open, but in the future, we are looking at starting Culinary at some point in Philippines as well, okay? But of course, like Chef Angelo explained in yesterday's demo, we have schools all over, okay? We have 3 schools in India, we have a school in Indonesia, we have the school here in Malaysia, and we have Philippines as well, okay? So they all offer the same program, we all teach the same thing, so anytime that anybody wants to travel overseas, they want to study overseas or something like this, there's always a school that can accommodate you, okay? If, for example, you don't want to do the 9-month course and you're just looking for something a little bit more simple, all of the schools, especially Malaysia, we offer intensive program, okay? Which is a 1-month program that you can actually just come and study for 1 month, which is no problem. You can just come in on your tourist visa for that because it's training, okay? So it's anybody can just come in normally for that. And for me, if you're finding it a bit difficult but you have specific requirements, okay, then that's the best path for you to take, ideally. Okay.
That's very good.
Right. So if there's no more questions, I would just like to say thank you to everybody, okay? I have a poster here from something that we did the other day, okay? We handed out some baked goods to the University of Malaya Hospital, okay? So thank you so much to all of our frontliners. It's not just nurses, doctors, okay? It's the police, the food delivery guys, the postmen, everyone, okay? Anyone that's still working during this time, thank you so much. Please stay home, please stay safe. The sooner that we abide by the rules, the sooner this MCO will be lifted and you can all come and join me and try my green curry. Okay? Thank you so much, guys.
There is a question.
Yes.
They want to know at the time of isolation and COVID-19,
Yeah.
how the academy is taking classes. I mean, is there some online classes going on or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, for us now in the academy, we're trying to offer something to everybody, okay? So we're having these live demos, if not every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week we're offering them. And we're also offering online classes for our students as well, theory classes that will be held by the chefs every day, Monday to Friday, they are on offer, between 1, 2, 3 p.m, somewhere in between there, okay? And it will be in-depth theory for the students to do some revision at home, help for their practice and things like this, okay? But as for now, we are still in the planning of other things, something that we can offer. We're still releasing full recipe videos as well, at least once a week, that will help people to understand and to see something in a bit more detail, because of course we understand the recipes that we do now. They're sometimes a little bit fast and things like this, but we're looking for something that's easy for you guys to do at home, okay? So we do have online classes going on at the minute, but the main focus is on the demos and the theory classes that we offer as well.
There's one last question which is coming from Malaysia. The student wants to know whether there is a kind of an open day where they can actually come to the school and visit us when the situation is better. What do you actually do in the open day? What's the process?
Okay. Yeah, so we have something called career guidance, okay, or trial class is another way of calling it. And we usually offer it every 2 weeks, okay, but obviously due to the COVID, we've had to push it back for a while. So after the COVID's finished, the MCO is lifted, we will be reopening again for the trial classes where we invite anybody to come in, okay? It's free of charge, you just come in, you spend the day with the chef, so in the morning you will have an introduction about the academy, what to expect here, you'll go through the program and things, and then after that you will attend a class for a few hours where you will make a product, okay? And that product, whether it be pastry or be it culinary, you will do something at least, and so you will learn something throughout that day. So it gives you an idea of what we teach in the academy, what we offer to you guys. And then after that you will have your lunch, okay, inside the academy, whether you eat the product that you've made or whether something is brought in for you. And then after that you will sit down, you will have a career talk, okay? So our chefs have crazy amount of industry training, okay, from all over the world, right? So everyone has something to offer you, different industry, maybe it's a different place that they've been working, a different style, okay? So they can offer you something from each country and something like this. They can tell you a little bit about how life's going to be and something like that, okay? And one last thing before we finish off, okay? I just want to say that if you are enjoying our demos, okay, if you have missed anything and you wish to catch back up on it, you can go to YouTube, you can search Apka Malaysia, okay? Please like and subscribe because all of our videos, be it from the past, be it from the present, or be it in the future, will all be uploaded onto there for you guys to view at any time at all, okay? So Apka Malaysia on YouTube, please check it out. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the demo and I would love to see what you guys can do with your green curry that you make at home. Thank you so much, okay? I will see you again very, very soon. Okay, bye-bye.